Ladies and gentlemen, Professor, good morning. My name is Gian, and welcome to my presentation. Today, I'm here to shed light on a critical aspect of Brazil's economic landscape, the global beef trade. Now, for today's discussion, we will talk about the following: the introduction, which also covers the history of the industry. Also, we'll talk about the advantages of the global beef trade to Brazil, also the negative impact of the environment. We'll also um, talk about the presenter's take or my stance about the topic. And on the last page will be the reference. The global beef trade is a complex system if importing and exporting cattle meat or beef from different countries. The industry has played a pivotal role in Brazil's economic growth while improving livelihood of the citizens. However, it also raises concerns about its environmental impact, particularly in the Amazon rainforest. Now, to understand the current state, let's dive into the history of Brazil's beef trade industry, starting with the cattle ranching. What is the meaning of cattle ranching, you may probably ask? Now, cattle ranching is the act of running a huge farm that involves breeding, feeding, and raising cattle before selling them to the meat packers for slaughtering and distribution. Cattle ranching has deep roots in the country, dating back to the early 16th century when Portuguese settlers introduced cattle to the land. Over the years, Brazil became a global beef powerhouse, driven by the vast expanses of fertile land and favorable climate for cattle ranching. Now let's address the most important question. Should Brazil expand its beef trade for economic gains despite the negative environmental impacts? Now, this question encapsulates the delicate balance between economic prosperity and environmental sustainability that Brazil must grapple with. Now, let's talk about the benefits. Now, according to Molosi et al. 2000, in 2023, Brazil has become one of the world's leading beef exporters due to the success of the beef trade industry. The beef trade has been a driving force behind Brazil's economic growth. The beef trade generated over $7.6 billion, which substantially contributed to Brazil's GDP in 2020 alone. As reported by the ABIEC, or Brazilian Beef Exporters Association. Because of the industry's growth, Brazil engaged to international beef trade exporting to over 150 countries, fostering diplomatic ties by signing a bilateral agreement with major importers like European Union and even China. Through global collaboration, this opened opportunities to exchange knowledge and best practices with other countries, which led to the advancement of technology, especially in the cattle industry. Furthermore, this has brought millions of jobs, specifically in the rural areas. Over 6.8 million Brazilians were directly and indirectly employed by the beef industry. The employment opportunities help alleviated uh, alleviate rather poverty in the Amazon region, becoming the major employer in the country. The cattle industry elevated the country's economy and its citizens' standard way of living. With that said, the beef trade industry has contributed significantly to Brazil's GDP, job opportunities, and established a strong diplomatic tie with other nations. Over the years, Brazil has emerged as a major player in global beef exports while providing a steady income stream for the nation. Of course, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. There will always be the negative sides or trade offs. The success of Brazil's beef trade comes at a considerable cost, especially in the Amazon rainforest. 90% of the deforestation in the Amazon rainforest is associated to cattle ranching, which can be linked to Brazil's trade beef trade industry. Over the years, it has gotten worse. According to Betts et al. In 2020, illegal deforestation from cattle ranching had already reached the protected territories of the Amazon. It is estimated that one soccer field is lost every minute, or 700,000 hectares lost daily due to deforestation. This is equivalent to New York City's Central Park. Rampant deforestation for cattle ranching has led to biodiversity loss, disrupted ecosystems, and contributed to climate change. The negative consequences are not only local but also global, affecting the delicate balance of our planet. Amazon is considered as the Earth's lungs. Now you can only imagine what's going to happen to a person with lung cancer. People need to understand that if the Amazon rainforest is destroyed, this will have a huge effect on the planet. Various flora and fauna species, or plants and animal species, seek salvation through the Amazon rainforest. If this will be destroyed, these species will become extinct. Extinction of the species means failure to biodiversity. Now, if biodiversity fails, it also directly impacts the ecosystem. Also, Amazon stores carbon dioxide, or plants stores carbon dioxide, and releases oxygen in return. If the trees are destroyed, the carbon dioxide stored by the plants will be released back into the atmosphere, which will cause more global warming. And importantly, medicines cultivated through the Amazon will also be lost. I'm not referring to herbal medicines here, but prescribed medicines. Even the ones being researched to cure cancer will be destroyed as well. Now, after weighing the positives and negatives, it becomes clear that a delicate balance must be struck. My stance is that Brazil should continue to expand the beef trade since it promotes economic growth, job employment, global diplomacy, improves standard way of living, technological investment, and also innovation. However, it is imperative that while Brazil continues to benefit from the beef trade industry, the government should implement sustainable practices in cattle ranching, promoting agroforestry, enforce stricter environmental regulations. Furthermore, to mitigate the negative impacts, the, the officials need to encourage responsible consumption and support initiatives that promote reforestation. Ultimately, the beef trade is a double edged sword for Brazil, a source of economic prosperity, but also a driver of environmental destruction. Now, by implementing responsible practices, Brazil can not only preserve its rich ecosystems, but also set a global example for balancing economic development with environmental stewardship. And that is the end of my report. Thank you so much for listening, and you have a great day.